Hi, my name is Rashmi. Before I begin, I just want to take a moment to express how truly humbling this is to be here because in this very place 2 years ago, I watched my mom give her TED talk. And to be here today is a feeling difficult to put in words. But today, I'm not here to recite a list of my accomplishments or philosophize the meaning of happiness. To be honest, at 26, I am still just trying to find a balance between my passions, my work, and trying to eat something that's not chocolate. But if there's one thing that I've learned is happiness, just like success, is not a coincidence. It is something that we actively design through our choices, actions, and habits. So let me take you through my journey of trying to and kind of successfully designing this happiness for me. I grew up in a small town called Sri Rampur and in an extremely close-knit family. I was very attached to my parents and grandparents. My grandfather, Advocate Rashmi Shinde, was a freedom fighter, a social activist, an educationist, and a lawyer. To the world, he was a hero. But to me, he was simply my best friend. I remember sitting by his side, listening to stories about Indian mythology, ancient history. His voice was steady and it carried so much wisdom. It always made me feel inspired and valued. It is also because of him that. Oh, this doesn't work. Yeah, that's him. It is also because of him that I had the extreme honor and privilege of meeting visionaries like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Baba Amte, Baba Saheb Purandare, all of whom visited our homes. Back then, I was too young to fully understand the significance of these encounters. But today I realize what a profound legacy he left behind. I moved to a boarding school when I was in my 8th standard, Bishops in Pune. And it felt like stepping into a whole new world. And to be honest, it was hard. Without my friends, my family, the first few days felt like I was never going to be okay. But then there was one surprising perk. The food there was amazing. And eventually, I settled in this new life and I started seeing the beauty of it. It was there that I discovered independence, the ability to make my own decisions, and I threw myself into every extracurricular and every sport there was. I never won, but it was there that I got the courage to step up and participate. And then there were those friendships formed over late night chats and shared triumphs that made Bishops into a second home. I had to come back for my 11th and 12th to my hometown. It is a period which is often described as life defining. And it was for me, but not in the ways that I had imagined. Because it was nearly, I had entered my 12th grade and I was selected for skating nationals. And the best part about this achievement was that the award was given to me by my grandfather. I remember that day like it happened yesterday. Me being on stage, my grandfather giving me the trophy and looking at me so proud, and the audience cheering for me. In that moment, I felt like I had the world at my feet. I felt invincible. But life has a way of turning the memories you hold most dear and shattering them. 10 days to this, I lost my grandfather and my world crashed. I didn't want to navigate a world without my best friend in it. And it wasn't until that moment that, it was then that I realized that death is real. And for a long time, I could not process this loss. It took me a long time to realize that though I could not get him back, I could honor his memory. And the only way to do that was by creating a legacy and carrying his forward. And determined to do so, I gave my best at everything, from skating nationals to my 12th exams. And then I secured admission in VJTI, one of India's most prestigious engineering colleges. This wasn't just an academic milestone for me, it was proof that despite the loss, I was capable of moving forward and making him proud. My years at VJTI were defined more than sports than my books. But there I didn't just participate. There I led. I captained the basketball, the athletics team. I had the privilege and honor of lifting trophies, celebrating victories. And those years revealed a version of me that was collaborative, determined, and joyfully competitive. But as my years at VJTI drew to a close, I felt this heavy uncertainty weigh up on me. Everybody around me seemed to know what they're doing and what they intend to do in the future, whether it was going for their masters or their MBAs or getting a job. The traditional path was so structured, so clear, that it was difficult to resist it. However, it didn't resonate with me. I couldn't shake that feeling that I wasn't meant for that predictable life. And that is why, in my final year of engineering, I cultivated this newly growing interest in pageantry. I joined a pageant training academy and I won the program, the final course of the training academy, and I landed my first pageant. I had always admired pageantry, but this was the first time that I took the leap of faith and acted upon my interest. Winning the program and getting my pageant led me to me being featured in Femina magazine. And all of those achievements solidified my choice of not taking the traditional route and going into modeling and pageantry. During that time, I also participated in an online pageant, and to my delight, I was crowned as the first runner-up there. Things seemed to be aligning so well for me. It felt like a clear path that I would get into pageantry, the opportunities would flow in, leading to recognition, financial independence. The truth was far from it. As I went into the industry, I started facing the harsh realities of it. Relentless rejections, zero to no financial stability, the endless loop of uncertainty, and it made me question my choices. I was not sure of how to proceed because on one end, my passions were cultivating into something so strong that I wanted to go further, but the scarce opportunities and even the ones that were there were unsustainable. And meanwhile, I could see my peers who had taken the traditional route settle into their jobs and have a stable life. With every year, I invested more of myself, more of my time, more of my effort, more of my energy. But instead of it leading to something substantial, it only amplified each setback that I faced. In the end, I had to let go. The path, the dream that I was chasing so relentlessly was no longer the right path for me. Stepping back was the most painful and heartbreaking decision that I had to take. But I redirected my effort into a family-founded institution, which was a group of schools. I started working in the rural area, helping mitigate the challenges faced by those students. Having studied in a rural area myself, I could empathize with the lack of resources for the competitive exam prep, with the lack of guidance, and it motivated me to create a more equitable system. Grounding myself in this work connected me to a purpose far larger than myself. It gave me time to heal, it gave me time to rediscover myself and gain clarity on the future. I also started preparing for my master's. I studied, I scored well, I got into a top tier university. But when the time came for me to leave for my master's, I couldn't. Taking a step back had given me perspective. It had helped me connect with the actual reason of why I wanted to go into pageantry in the first place, to inspire and empower. And it was then that I decided to return to pageantry. But convincing my family to let me go back was a Herculean task. Not because they were against it, no. They were my strongest supporters, but because they had seen what happened the last time. Their fear stemmed from the anxiety of having seen me struggle before. It took countless conversations, patience, a promise to them and myself that this time would be different. I set clear, measurable goals for myself that if within a span of a year, I was not able to progress in my career or secure sustainable modeling opportunities, I would leave. I had my master's admit and I had a backup plan. Also, working with the rural communities had taught me the importance of giving back and given me a deeper understanding on people's challenges, connecting me and making me understand the true use of your platform and your voice. So this time when I returned to pageantry, it wasn't with the intention of what I could gain from the title or what I could gain from the crown. It was what I could contribute to it. And that is precisely why I won. Because my focus was on the responsibility that came after it. The crown was an acknowledgement of my effort, not the reason for it. Having won the title was a feeling like no other. It felt surreal because the dream that I had once set aside because I was unsure of how to navigate was now my reality. Representing India in Japan was a dream come true, of course, but it also gave me the opportunity to work with the Miss International organization and to connect and to use my platform to work on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It gave me the tools to create a tangible impact, something that I'd always wanted. And one of the most moving things about this experience was the sisterhood that I formed there. The other contestant, there were 75 contestants. That means 75 countries. The best part about this was we didn't refer to each other by our names. We referred to each other by the country we represented. And being called India from every corner of the globe was a moment and is a moment I will always cherish. It was a privilege and honor to represent a country of more than 1 billion people. But none of this would have been possible if I didn't have my family to support me. My mother was my guiding light throughout this journey. But she didn't just support me. It was her literal presence that was the foundation that I stood up on. Coming from a rural area, we didn't have access to a lot of opportunities like professional photographers, studios, things that are considered basic in the urban cities. But my mom never let that hold me back. With her presence, her support, her encouragement, I learned to do things on my own. And she learned it with me. Together, we taught the photographers in Srirampur how to capture my best angles and how to present confidence in front of the camera. So today, when I talk about happiness, for me, it doesn't mean not having problems or not having or having a smooth sailing life. Instead, for me, it means having problems you like solving. The design of happiness is, for me, trying to create problems you would enjoy solving and spend time in and would like to spend time with. So today I stand before you not as somebody with all the answers, but as someone who is trying to live authentically and meaningfully. And I implore all of you to design a life so unique and so aligned with your purpose that happiness doesn't just find you, it chases you down. Thank you.